The Chicago Bears, man, it's a lot going on before the draft. Brad Biggs is saying that the Bears will draft Will Campbell, Steve-O, if he's there
Mm-hmm.
at number 10. Oh, they're also saying they will look at tight ends in the draft, even though Ben Johnson does like Cole Kmet. And the Bears are bringing in a few players for their top 30 visits. We'll discuss all that plus more right after the intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
All right, what's the word, Chicago Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bears related. Y'all already know what to do. Hit us up at 773-242-9336 for any questions, concerns, comments, and hit us up at Shop Bears Central wherever you like to receive your social media information. Steve-O,
Yo.
what's the word, man?
Hey man. We cracking down time. It's people out here making their moves. The free agency that happened. Some money was spent. We look at some directions we going. We got some news about some top 30 visits. So let's get down to business.
All right, man. Right into the topics. Brad Biggs saying that the Bears probably draft Will Campbell if he's there at number 10. And y'all already know how I feel about it. I'm all in on that decision. If Will Campbell falls to the number 10, I don't care what his arm length looks like. Let you draft him. He is a dominant left tackle. He is a player that the Chicago Bears definitely should draft. He's done his job well, and he's done it in the SEC for many years now. And he just doesn't allow sacks. So you hear these measurables about different players throughout the history of the NFL, and some people just rise above the standard, so to speak. So if you check out my mock drafts, both of the mock drafts that I did, I had Will Campbell going at number 10. But how do you feel? How would you feel if the Bears, if Jeanty is there and Will Campbell is there, how would you feel if the Bears took Will Campbell over Ashton Jeanty? You got to unmute yourself.
Hey, I didn't even know I muted myself. But yeah, I feel like it's a no brainer. Like it's when you have an opportunity to sure down lock every single position in one season on your O line for the most part. What you would want to do. Not only is that somebody you could bring as a depth piece, but you can also bring as competition to somebody like Braxton Jones. And we're not going to be done addressing this line. Like, yes, we did a lot of money making when we brought in Drew, we brought in Joe and Jonah, but all those dudes are on the north side and wrong side of. I think Drew 29 will be 30 when the season starts, so they on the wrong side of 30. So we do need to bring in some more young blood next to Darnell so we can have something to build with. It's a good build between young and old if we have this line built that way. So if you got somebody that can sure up your left tackle, bring competition to your left tackle. Also, he can also play guard, either or. That's something you can bring in as a depth piece because we know it's a long season and we know what happens when our O line gets beat up. So you want depth piece and you just want to shore up this line. That's something you want to do. Have a good line for the next 5 years.
And that's what I was going to bring up is depth. Last season, last two seasons actually, Chicago Bears have had injury on the offensive line, and we can't expect that to change this season. So you need to have depth. And honestly, I prefer to have Braxton Jones as a depth piece as
Facts.
opposed to being a starter on his squad. That's not to say that Braxton Jones is a bad player. He's just not what he should be at this point in his career. We've seen him for years now, and there's still too many ineptitudes. And as far as the
Yeah.
bull rush, for example, giving up sacks, staying healthy, all of those things matter.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I feel like the Chicago Bears, if they upgraded their left tackle position, we're looking at possibly a top 10 offensive line at the end
Yeah.
of the season. Not necessarily when the season starts, because they're going to have to gel. So don't jump in the comments getting all on the case here. I'm saying that by the time the season ends, if things go the way they should go, they should be a top 10 offensive line with Will Campbell being a part of it.
Yeah, because I've always talked about when it comes to the left tackle position, like it's just certain positions in sports where you don't want just okay, and that's what we classify him. Braxton Jones is a serviceable enough left tackle, which is good for a depth piece. I don't want serviceable at my left tackle. You can get by with serviceable guards and cervical everything else, even right tackles. When you're a left tackle, you're going up against somebody that make damn near $100 million. So that means they're going up against the best of the best each and every week. So I need that person to be the best of the best, not only talent wise, but he needs to be durable as well. I think that's another knock that I think we kind of ignore because we always talk about the limitations that Braxton Jones has on the field. One of his biggest knocks is that he's constantly hurt. And I can't have my left tackle being hurt, especially in key games that we seen this year where he wasn't there, and we had to lean on Amagaja.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like leaning on Big Yell.
Big Yale. That's his name for now on. I ain't calling him shit else. I'm not calling him anything else.
Yeah, Big Yale got some work to do, man. He was a project to begin with. But yeah, man. So let us know in the comments what you guys think about what Brad Biggs had to say about Will Campbell. If he's there at 10, the Bears are taking him, and I believe they should. Personally, I just believe that they should. Just it's a no-brainer in me and Steve O's opinion.
Yeah, because
So
I'd be shocked if he even makes it. If we really finna let some arms, hey, go ahead.
it's an arms race. But all right. So another position of depth, a position of need in terms of depth for the Chicago Bears is kind of being quietly dealt with is the tight end position. Nobody's really talking about needing tight end depth here, but I believe that the Chicago Bears do, and so does the Bears apparently because they're looking at tight ends in the draft. Um, Although Ben Johnson is on record saying that he likes Cole Kmet, and he should because Cole Kmet is a pretty solid tight end who was left out of the game plan last season for whatever reason for most of the season. But hey, listen, getting tight end depth here. I think I had a tight end drafted in my second mock draft as well because they need depth there, not just who they just picked up from Miami because he's just pretty much what's his name,
Hmm.
Smythe,
Yeah.
a blocking tight end. Really, he's like an
Hmm.
extra offensive lineman there. But they do need an extra pass catching tight end to spell Cole Kmet in certain situations throughout the season. How, how you feeling about that, Steve-O?
Um. Yeah, like you did lose your second tight end in Everett. He's not here no more, and you do want to have somebody that could kind of mimic your other tight end in case he does go down. Even though Cole has some injuries, bumps and bruises, but for the most part, he's pretty durable. So that's not the point. But I think I'm not upset of them looking at the tight end position. It's just how early are you looking at it? Like, if we're really like people think in the comments and other places, if we really consider of getting a tight end at the 10th pick, it's like, I don't think that's something we can do. But I
Yeah,
think there's
old boy out of Penn State, I believe that's
yeah,
what I.
which don't get me wrong,
He rocked.
he a legitimate tight end. He's nice, and I think he's gonna get picked within the top 15. But I just don't think that's something we don't need when we have somebody like Cole Kmet. We seen what he's produced with not the best squad, not the best coaching. Now that we're getting everything together with the right coaches, somebody we know he knows how to use tight ends. I'm thinking we're using somebody as a helpmate, somebody we can use in different type of things because that's another thing Ben Johnson likes to do. He's very creative of how he uses his players, whether it's trick plays, where it's just like even things he did with like Sam Laporta, where he'll put him on the right tackle next to the right tackle, and he look like he blocking and fade to another route, that type of thing. So I think that's somebody he could look at in a second, third round. Like if you looking to get somebody there, I'm not gonna be too upset if even the fourth round. Like I
Well,
think the
we
people
don't
they
have a fourth round pick. I made a
I mean we
mistake and
don't. Fifth.
I forgot we traded that, so I
Yeah.
had that in my second mock draft.
I forgot that the Saint the not the Saints, the Steelers shit didn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. We would have had a fourth round pick, but we do have a fifth round pick, and I think that's where I have a tight end coming in. I wouldn't utilize the second, one of the 2 seconds, or the third round pick to grab a tight end there. I do believe you can get a serviceable tight end in the fifth round. have him come in and develop and
Yeah.
move forward because Cole Kmet is a number one tight end, at least for the Chicago Bears. And people were high on him coming into last season until Shaky Shane came in and just blew everything up. Completely removed him from the game plan. So I
Yeah,
like. Go
and
ahead.
there was times where Caleb just wasn't looking at him.
Oh yeah, not just him. Others as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Rome Dunze could have had 3 or 4 big
yep.
catches, like wide open long touchdown catches. So we know that Caleb is a case in progress, a work in progress. But again, the offense itself didn't dictate him kind of looking down the field either. They wanted him to go through his progressions. They wanted him to get rid of the ball, especially if that offensive line wasn't up to snuff, and it wasn't. So not to give
Hmm.
Caleb any leeway there, because I do believe he could have done a lot better last season, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, let us know what y'all think in the comments. How you feeling about tight ends, and if the Chicago Bears should be looking at one. Now I know some of you guys want them to pick up the cat out of Penn State, but again, that's just like Ashton Jeanty to me. I think we got bigger needs that need to be addressed early in
Bigger
the
fish to
first
fry
round.
for sure.
Yeah, early in the first round. All right, so the big topic for today, though, Steve-O, is the top 30 visits. Now, we know that the top 30 visits is big because now the coaching staff gets to sit down with these guys, pick their brains a little bit, study their character, so on and so forth. A couple of guys that are coming in is Will Campbell, of course, Ashton Jeanty, of course, but then Josh Carnley out of Oregon. I know you're excited to hear about that. He's a left tackle. And then you got Mason Taylor, a tight end out of LSU, Jason Taylor's son,
Mm.
NFL legend Jason
Really?
Taylor's son. Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we'll start. We already talked about Will Campbell. You already know how we feel about him. We could touch on Ashton Jeanty a little bit. Like, what are the Bears expecting to learn from this young fella in their top 30 visit?
I mean, I think the top 30 Vegas is just that conviction. Are they looking for that conviction, that connection? Like, okay, this the guy we going with. So, I mean, I'm not gonna be naive to the point that they're looking at running backs. They're looking at a person that could have won a Heisman Trophy, which they should. They should do their due diligence. They should be interviewing him. They should be knowing more about him personally, his family, his surrounding parts, where he comes from, what his mindset is like. Does he have a mindset of a Chicago Bear? Stuff like that. So yeah, go ahead, do it. Yeah, I'm not against it. Like you should be doing your. This is what you're paid to do as a GM. Like you're supposed to do your due diligence. In that, yeah, I am tripping about it.
I would be petty and ask him about that comment he had early last year on Instagram, where a person asked him if he would go to the Bears. He was like, "Nah, man, the Bears already got what they need. They already got their running back." But
I ain't gonna say all that.
no,
Even
no,
though I'm not, like I said, I'm not as low as everybody else on Josh, not Josh, on Sweat,
Swift.
but Swift, not Sweat, on Swift. But yeah, I think you can address the running back position, but just at 10, I'm just not a fan of.
Oh no, the Bears will address the running back position. This is a very deep running back draft. They could stay in the Big Ten and get one of the top 3, 4 running backs out of the Big Ten and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I believe Ashton Jeanty is going to be a great running back in this league. Who knows for how long? Because the shelf life for running backs is just not that long. It's just the reality of it. You're not seeing too many Emmitt Smiths these days. You're seeing flash in the pan seasons where you might get 3 or 4 good years from a running back, and then they'll just be serviceable moving forward. Let's just keep that in mind. The running back position is the lifespan is very, very short. But that's not. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Ashton Jeanty. I just do believe that you can do better at number 10. But you're right. Do your due diligence. Come in, have him come in, sit down, pick his brain, figure out what's going on with him, what his mindset is, and is he a Chicago Bear? Because that's the real important thing about these draft picks is do they have that monsters of the midway mentality? Because frankly, the Chicago Bears kind of got away from that over the last few years with the
Mm-hmm.
previous coaching regime. And Ryan Poles has been picking people that's Ryan Poles esque and not Chicago Bears esque. So we need some Chicago Bears, not some Ryan Poles up in here.
Not for real.
Josh Carnley. Now I know you can tell me about this guy, offensive tackle out of Oregon, big dude. And he's definitely he would be a solid pick. I'm not necessarily sure he would be somebody that the Bears should be looking at number 10 though. So would that be a trade back piece right here? You trade back and then you draft your offensive tackle there, or what?
Oh yeah, I think he'll trade back. I don't see him being like a very high pick. There's definitely more capable. Like we've already talked about, like Armand Membos, the Kelvin Banks of the world, even like Josh Simmons of the world, Devin, not Devin, Donovan Jackson. Like there's a lot of people ahead of him. Not to say that he's bad. Like as you know, I'm an Oregon fan, and I haven't really talked much about him because one, he raw. He's very raw at the position. Like I think what's gonna make him that first round is like he has the moment, like he has the like the composed movements. He has he accelerates the blocks very very well. Like you know how to use his body. He moves well for his body. He know how to throw consistent punches with his hands and use his hand very well. But like his weaknesses is like okay, if you get a small linebacker on that edge, it's over. Like and that's a lot of things. Like he need to, he kind of remind me of Braxton, if that makes sense. Like a lot of power moves work on him, a lot of quickness moves work on him. Um, he if somebody they don't even have to have an unnatural bend. If they have an average bend, they could get past them. Like
Mm-hmm.
so that's my thing. Like and don't get me wrong, he's still young. He's 21 years old, probably 22 by the time we draft him. But the upside is there. 6'5", 311, was a junior. Me personally, I would have went back for another year, but he coming out. He trying to make a bet on himself. So hey, I'm not mad at him. Looking at him, I think he definitely, if he was to consider to draft him, he's not a day one starter. He's definitely a depth piece. I do think, even though I'm comparing to him like somebody like Braxton just got him so on the like the footwork, the technical side about it. He just light years ahead when it comes to him. So he's definitely a depth piece. But
I don't want to
yeah,
draft a depth piece at that position. That's just
yeah,
me personally. You can bring him in, talk to him. If he is somebody the Bears are looking at, I would look at him as somebody you trade out of that 10 spot. You pick up another maybe third
yeah.
rounder. You pick up a
Like he's
fourth
like the
rounder.
seventh ranked left tackle.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't. Bring him in, but nah. No, if the Bears are going to trade out of that position and pick up more draft picks, then maybe because I do like Malachi Moore out of Alabama a lot
yeah,
at
like not
safety.
right.
So like you could pick him up in the third or fourth round if you grab more capital there. But at the end of the day, he's not your left tackle of the future, in my opinion. You don't want to draft another project there. You already got one there in Big Yale, and then you still got Braxton Jones. If you're gonna bring somebody in who's worse than Braxton Jones, I'm not necessarily sure that's the move the Chicago Bears should make there. All right, so the last person that we're talking about is Sean Taylor's son, Jason Taylor's son. Um, he's a tight end, and frankly, Mason Taylor. I'm not sure what he's slotted to be drafted, but it's good to bring him in and talk to him and see what he's talking about.
Yeah, I hope he's somebody that can slide to like that fifth round. Like, yeah, I mean, I could see him getting picked in the. I mean, he'd be a little high to me as a third, but I could see him going to third. But he's just a solid tight end, good size for a tight end, 6'5", not even good, pretty good size, 6'5", 250. Solid hands. He can develop his route trees. Like he's capable of elevating his route tree. You know, sometimes people when they come out of college, you just know like this is gonna be his route tree. He ain't gonna get no better than that. So he moves in like one good motion, like it's effortless how he moves. He tracks the ball pretty well. I think his weaknesses is like he not like super fast. Like he needs to he could be more physical like when he's combating with balls in the air or even just combating with DBs, he could be a little bit more physical. He's not the blocker I would say anybody is ahead of him. So he's probably one of on the blocking side, not one of the best. But yeah, what you said earlier, if he does kind of fit the description, somebody that could be another pass catcher, someone we could use in trick plays, like drag routes, fake plays, stuff like that.
Yeah, he's not good at blocking either. So that's one
He ain't
thing
not.
that can get your quarterback blown up. He does generate yards after the catch. 700 career yards after reception is pretty
Good body
solid.
control too.
And he's a natural athlete. His dad is a all-time great in the NFL. So that's one of those things that you got to keep your eye on. But again, he's slated to go in the third or fourth round. So this is somebody that they're bringing in, sure, to talk to. But again, I don't see, like, if the Bears are going to pick up a pass catcher in the third round, if Higgins out of Iowa State is available, bro. I mean, I know I talked about it in my mock draft, but that kid, man, at 6'4", 220 pounds, he's a possession receiver. He will go over the middle. He kills zone coverages. I mean, that dude is who I would go with instead of going with a tight end if we're picking up a pass catcher in the third round. But that's just me. If he's
I don't
available.
know. Yeah, it just depends on what Ben wants. If he feel like this dude like Mason, because one thing he's known for is he's reliable. Like if you throw that ball, he ain't dropping it that much. So
Neither
I
is
can see why
Higgins.
they'll do it.
Give me 6'4", 220. Give me that at wide receiver, bro. Because you remember when Bears fans fell in love with Johnson in the preseason last year, bro.
I mean, do we
In training
necessarily
camp.
need another big body wide receiver?
Besides who?
Wrong.
Rome gonna be on the outside though. Like this
You
kid would
want
be,
you want you want hit 6'4" on the inside?
hey, go ahead and run them little over the middle routes and grab these catches, these first down catches that we need. But I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying. But all right,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I ain't against it. I ain't watched much Higgins, so I need to watch him.
Yeah, check out his tape out of Iowa State, bro. He's solid. He's definitely solid.
I would definitely be producing some players. Okay, Iowa State, I should say. Yeah, both
Yes,
Iowas,
sir.
I will say.
But all right, man, this is a good one, man. Steve, good to be back with you,
Yeah,
my
bro.
guy. I know we both been super busy, so we haven't been able to do our daily
Facts.
activities, but it is what it is there. Listen, y'all already know what to do. Hit us up at 773-242-9336. Leave a voicemail and or a text message or email us as well at shybearcentral@gmail.com. And then you got Shy Bear Central wherever you like to receive your social media. I'm sorry, chicagobearcentral@gmail.com. But listen, this has been fun. Y'all already know what to do. Hit us up. Follow all the rest of the Chi-Town Sports family. Type in your
Mm-hmm.
favorite Chicago sports team and put the word Central behind it. And then, of course, we got the Chi Bulls podcast. We'll be live again tonight late as the Bulls got another late game. And then you got the NBA Central and the brand new NFL Central. And, of course, baseball season is on the horizon, so don't forget to follow Chicago White Sox Central and Chicago Cubs Central. It's your boy Big Kev. Steve, you got anything else for the game?
Hey, shout out to Jay Capone. He sent me that damn 30 list at like 8 in the morning. And we gotta give our love to the supporters. They know I know how hard we work. They be working too. People like Baki, V Dog, all them. They be working just as hard as we do. Shout out to y'all.
Oh yeah, shout out to the game, and we got the best chat in the world. So we got a whole family, y'all. So we good there. All right, y'all. We're gonna holler at you all next time. Peace. What is it? Shot Town up, bear
Bear
down.
that. Number one.